I have a really large haul today. Because yesterday I filmed some footage in Goodwill and I was so exhausted. Like it was bad. It was bad footage. And there was a lot of music. Like I bet my head was not in the game. Obviously, I'm still struggling. But I came home and I put a face mask on and some of those little gooey things under my eyes. I still look exhausted. I did not get to get my hair cut today, but I did do my nails. I was trying to go with the 90s theme. Now, I've never had like acrylic nails before, but especially with all the stress, either I've been biting my nails or they've just been breaking. So I figure if I'm gonna spend the crazy money to even get my nails done, I'm just gonna get something I like and something that looks good. Bless her, my smiley face looks a little bit like Sloth. I mean, if you look at it from one angle, it's pretty spot on. It's kind of like my face. If you look at it from one angle, like it's pretty good, and you look at it from the other angle and you're kind of like, but yeah, I think I've decided that I'm going to do a couple 90s themed, and then I'm going to do 80s, and then I'm going to do 70s, and then I'm going to work all the way through to probably the beginning of next year into the 40s, and then I might even do some Art Deco. I don't know, I might do an Art Deco set, but I think it's kind of cool. I also think I'm addicted to it because, like, there's just so many things you can do with nails. My dog loves them. Yeah, he likes nails. He gets scratches. Anyways, alright. So I'm going to show you what I got yesterday. And then I'm going to show you the little things I got today, which I got way more than I expected. But then also, I have 2.3 mystery bins of toys. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I literally just made over 100 listings of toys, and I still have probably a solid 100 listings left to do of toys. And I just bought 2 bins of toys. But, you know, you gotta source them when you can get them. So, they were there. I also just wanted a little mystery. So yesterday, I spent right at $40. And I think what I got will fetch me close to 500. But I did get 2 of these hobbyist ceramic cats. This one's super cool. It's got green eyes. This one to me would almost be good at like Halloween, because you could have like the black and then like an orange pumpkin and some hay or corn stalks or something. But it was $5.99, so I paid up a little more than I normally would. But these pretty consistently go for $40 to $50 right now. So, and a lot of times you find them and they have chips, like even on the underside. Like a lot of times they'll have like chips somewhere around here. These are both very nice, so I went ahead and grabbed them. This one is like a Siamese Persian. I don't know if that's a thing. We'll just call it Persian cat. Again, very nice condition, no chipping. So yeah, I got both of those. Lord. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to work on creating some more space because I am all spaced out. I have approximately like $20,000 on this one shelving unit, which is actually pretty good. I mean, that's actually pretty decent to get 20K on one shelving unit. But it is maxed out and it is already sort of hard to work around. So I definitely want to try to clear off at least one more over on the other side of the garage. And I'll probably end up moving all of my toys over there, since I have just so many toys. Any toys, board games, puzzles, anything like that, because it still stays somewhat climate controlled over there, but it's not super climate controlled, so I don't really want to put like linens or clothing or anything over on that side. The next thing I got yesterday was this Fearless Taylor Swift towel. It's got her big old face on it. It is Taylor Swift branded, so I would imagine this was like sold at a concert or something. The last one that sold of this, I think, sold for like 50? Either 50 or 60 or something, I don't remember. That one I think was brand new. I don't know if these had tags, so I don't know if they just said it was brand new. This one still feels pretty new. I'm not so sure this was ever like used or washed, because it's got that super like plushy feeling. I'm not gonna list it as new because I don't like listing things as new unless I know. You got leftover peanut butter bread down there. Oh my lord. But I think I can get a solid $40 out of this. Now this one was priced up a little bit too because they recognized it was Taylor Swift. $5.99, but still Taylor Swift always sells, so it's worth it. I did get this golf club cover, which I was on the fence about because there are none listed or sold that I can find. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing sometimes. And what led me to go ahead and get it is, one, it was only $1.99. So for some reason I can't sell this. It's $2. Two, it's very easy to ship and deal with, very easy to store. But three, golf head covers do really well, especially weird ones or unique ones. So sometimes when you can't find something, if it's in a category that overall does well with unique items, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to sell it or it's a bad thing. You can actually price it up a little bit because nobody else is going to be able to find one. So if somebody's looking for this one, or somebody's like, you know, this is from Mississippi, and Steve Azar, I believe, is like a musician. I think. I'm really bad with names, but I'm pretty sure. And it says Steve Azar, Delta Soul 61, celebrity golf and charity event. And it is really nice quality. It's like the fluffy lined, like faux fur lined. Obviously new in package. It's like got a little logo on the other side. But if somebody attended this, or they're from Mississippi, or they like Steve Azar, or whatever. Oh, by the way, that's Highway 61. Then they'll come across this as long as I use the right keywords, and they won't be able to find another one. So if they really want it, they're gonna have to pay what I put it there for. I'm probably gonna do something like $39.79 free shipping or something. I also found this Ralph Lauren High Desert Feather Stitch bed skirt. Now it has been taken out in some form or fashion because generally the cardboard is not over the bed skirt. But if you can see, the bed skirt is folded in a way that it has definitely not been used, because only a psychopath would be able to take the time to get that bed skirt folded perfectly in a way that fits back into this package that way. And also you can just tell it hasn't been used. So I'm gonna put like open box or open package or whatever. The only other one listed, this is a king size. The only other one listed king size, I think that may be the only one listed period, is listed at like $150. There are no solds, but I think I'm gonna list this one around 80, because I feel like if there are no solds and the only one is listed like pretty high, then maybe the market value just isn't there. And the other bed skirts that I've found in sort of like Western prints were selling around that $80 mark. So I think that that's probably a safe bet for this one. But that was $3.99. So that was pretty good. The last thing I got yesterday was pretty cool. There's actually a guy who was like carrying this around and hovering over it. And I really wanted it. And he seemed like he was trying to get in touch with somebody to decide if he was going to buy it. And then eventually he just set it down and walked away. I kind of waited a couple minutes to make sure he wasn't going to like come back for it or something. And he didn't. He ended up actually leaving shortly after that. But I went and picked it up. And I was, again, kind of on the fence about it. Because this type of thing, like, there's so many different labels or so many different farms that these things come from, that the farm doesn't necessarily, or the name of it doesn't necessarily sell the item. And also the milk bottles, which these are half pints, they're not marked at all. Now I can definitely tell they are older. 52 SS. I don't know, but even the thickness of the glass is usually a sign of its age. They are older. I don't know for sure how old, but they're not marked. There is no label on them or marking or stamp or whatever. Now, if it's from specific places or brands, they tend to do a little bit better. They can actually go for really good money. But with them not being marked, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then I was like, well, I could sell it all together. And I could probably get like $150, $160 if I sold it all together. But I don't know about that either, because that's a shipping nightmare. But after kind of looking it up and figuring out a plan, I decided to go ahead and get it. The whole thing was only $10. And this primitive sort of looking stuff is very, very collectible. It never really goes out of style, but it has definitely been, you know, in lately. So this one, in my opinion, is aged really well too. Sometimes they're like overly aged. Sometimes they're not aged enough to where you can't even question if it is that old. But this one is nicely aged. I'm gonna have to clean, there's some cobwebs and that kind of thing. I'm gonna have to wash all the bottles. I was gonna maybe sell it together, but like the little squares for the milk bottles are so tight that there's no way to even wrap them in here, which means I would have to wrap each bottle separately. Probably put, you know, 2 to 4 in separate boxes each. And then I would have to secure this so that this didn't end up crushing any of the bottles. And that just sounds like an absolute nightmare. It also sounds very expensive. So I did figure out though that these older half pint bottles can probably go for about $10 a piece. So I'm gonna do a quantity listing because they are all pretty much in the exact same condition. I don't see any that have any chips or anything on them. I'll obviously have to check all the bottoms, but usually if it's going to chip, it's going to be more at the rim. So I can do a quantity listing. There's 18 of them, and just list them up there for $10 plus shipping. I will do more than likely, I don't know. I'll either do flat rate shipping, or I might do free shipping and just work the shipping into the price. I'll have to think about that one. But then the crate itself, I think, will do well too. It does say Engelmont Farms, and it's like hand carved or pressed in there. It's got this red interior. I don't know if y'all can like see, but the wiring, like the wire crate in the middle, and then it was originally painted red inside. So I think it should do well. I would imagine I'll probably list the crate itself somewhere in the like $80 range, and then do a quantity listing on the bottles. So I think I'll end up doing actually pretty well on this, which is why I decided to go ahead and get it. There was another really old primitive thing, and it was really heavy. And if I could have figured out easier what it was, I probably would have gotten it, because I'm pretty sure it was like a good wall decor piece. And I was torn on whether it had something to do with a grinding wheel or like a mill, or if it was something to do with plowing, like an animal harness thing. It was oddly shaped. I couldn't quite figure out which it was, and Google Lens wasn't giving me anything. So I did end up leaving it just because it was so big and I really didn't know what to do with it. If I had had an antique booth, I definitely would have picked that thing up, and I would have just put probably $150 on it and stuck it on the wall. But I don't have that right now, so I'll let it go. Let me get my cats back in here, because it's gonna get crowded. Go in your little cubby hole. Alright. So then today, the first Goodwill, I ran into the first Goodwill super fast, because basically I didn't have Wi-Fi. Somehow I clicked out of my GPS, so I started heading towards to get my nails done where I'd never been before. It was like 30 minutes away, and I had no idea where I was going. So I was like, all right, well, I can get Wi-Fi at Goodwill, so I'm just gonna run in anyways. And I had like 5 extra minutes, so I was like, well, I'll run in, do a really quick loop, connect to Wi-Fi, get my GPS going, and then I'll head out. The only thing I really found in that really quick loop, and they had just brought it out, was this like crazy quilt. Now sometimes they're crazier than this. Like a real true crazy quilt has like no rhyme or reason, but this type of fabric with these colors has started to also be known as a crazy quilt. There may be an actual more technical name, which I will probably try to find before I list this, because that will only do me justice. But it does also have like a sort of provenance on it. It says, to Sandra from Grandma. Aww. Love. And then it says made, M-A-I-D, 1968 by Marge, my sister. And then 1968 again underlined. She wanted to make it very clear that it was made in 1968. But it is very clear it was made in 1968, because these are those 50s, 60s polyesters, and they are just priceless in my opinion. Like, it is just awesome. And the only issue with it that I have found, I haven't even found any staining, is, if I can find it again. Where'd you go? Huh, well, maybe if I can't find it, they can't find it. It's on here, I promise. Now I have to find it. Now, oh, there it is. It is missing one patch, which that's a fairly easy repair. At least it's not shredded and like over multiple patches or anything like that. It does have this backing, which is all polyester. So it's sort of, instead of like a real thick quilt, it's almost like a quilt throw, which I think makes it even better, because like sort of that eclectic bohemian style would love to have something like this like draped over their couch or something of that nature, even hanging on their wall. And the fact that it's just sort of signed, you know, from Grandma to, or made by Marge, I think just adds to it. I should be able to get somewhere around $70 for that. And I think it was like 7 or 6. Either 6 or 7. Alright. So then I went, got my nails done, which they spent 3 hours on my hands and my feet. I've never had someone take their time and just be so thorough. It was very nice. Made me feel like I was getting my money's worth. I went and got a Starbucks. I stopped in City Thrift, which I think I got what I got there somewhere in all this, which if I find it, I'll show you. It wasn't much of anything. And then I went to a Goodwill real quick in Jackson. Didn't plan on staying as long as I did, but I just kept finding things, you know. So I spent more than I planned on. I was there longer, and I almost got caught between 2 storms, and I barely made it back to my neck of the woods without my windshield wiper motor in time before I got stranded, because it's supposed to storm like all night long. So it's not even like I could have just waited it out for an hour. It's like about to throw down for like hours. So I got pretty lucky in that regard, not only getting home on time, but also finding all the things I did. And it was so adorable. Like, okay, so there was one woman who stopped me, and she's like, I have to ask, are you a reseller? And I was like, yeah. I was like, actually I am. I was like, I've been doing it for a while. It's like, it's about 18 years now. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. And I just started a YouTube, and I was like, it's kind of cool. I was like, are you a reseller? And she said no, that she just likes watching things like that. And she just noticed I had a bunch of interesting things in my cart, so she had to ask. And we ended up having like a 10-minute conversation. And she also asked for my YouTube, so hopefully she'll end up checking me out. But she's very sweet. But I noticed like in the same aisle, like as I was picking, there were like 2 younger guys who were also picking. And it was just adorable, because they were really trying hard, and they weren't having much luck. But I don't know, it just felt like a community moment for a second there. But despite there being other resellers, I still made out really well. So I did come across these. I figured out 2 things just now. One, I almost slept through my nail appointment this morning, and I was like, man, I must have been really tired to sleep through 2 alarms. No, I'd set them for PM, so the video stopped because I set them for PM. Actually, now I'm paranoid. I'm gonna make sure the video is still playing. Okay, we're good. I was like, if I do these toy bins and this video is not even taking, it wouldn't be the first time. So that solved that mystery. But also, I forgot that yesterday I also did find this little pumpkin. It is dated October 1981. And it is made by Jan Graves. And it is very just kitschy. It is like the right amount of unprofessional. Like, it, you know, it's just, it looks so 80s. It was $1.99. I will probably list this around 18 or so and just sit on it until Halloween. Because vintage Halloween does really well from like August into October. And the 80s and 90s Halloween, like it was mostly, you know, all those super vintage Halloween items that were doing well. But now the 80s and 90s, now that all of us millennials have our own homes, well, we don't have our own homes because we can't afford them. But now that we decorate our spaces, that look is coming back pretty fiercely. So I think that'll do well enough, and I like it. Anyways, back to what I was saying about the moon shoes, is these are 1989 originals. Very good condition. They got all their little strappies, still very tight, nothing broken. They were only $2.99, and I'm not sure, like, I looked them up because I knew they sold, but I wasn't sure like how much they were selling right now, or if that value had gone down, because it's been a minute since I've investigated them. And it's weird because some are selling for 30 and some are selling for 60. And that's a big gap. But they're all dated the same. They're all like the same, as far as I can tell, the same thing. So I don't know if it's just the timing or if I need to look and really investigate. Maybe the $30 ones have some sort of damage on them or something. But these are all good. These are good. So at least $30 out of 30, which is a pretty good profit. Sort of minimum of what I like to be at, unless it's just something that I'm trying to save. I also got this giant, I called it a chicken because I'm unpatriotic. I'm not actually unpatriotic. I'm middle ground patriotic. No, you cannot have him. It's a national symbol. The small one, the 12-inch, last sold for 20. There's only one big guy listed. And we're going into an election year. Well, we're in an election year, which oddly nobody's talking about, thank God. I think we're all over it, is what it is. But this is the big guy. The only big guy listed, I believe, was listed at 60. I'm gonna have to re-verify that because it's been a long day. So I think I could at least get like 40 for him, and he's in pretty good condition. Like, most of the time these need a little bit of spot cleaning because the nature of the material picks up like dust and stuff pretty easily. But they are super easy to spot clean. Like, literally one of the easiest plushes to clean. Which I think is part of what added to its popularity. All right. We'll find you a plush. We'll find you something, baby dog. I'm sorry. It's been a tough day. You're alone for hours. You need something to chew. Can you lay down for me? Go lay down. Not in my lap. Okay. Go lay down. Be a good girl. Come on. Go lay down. Please. There's nothing in there you can have. I know you're going to get mad at me. You're gonna get mad. You cannot go over there and get that bald eagle. I'm putting my feet down. There were a few things I got for myself or for my daughter. She loves Mary Shelley, like, as a person. The story of her life is something that she really connected with, I think. But she also loves anything horror. Scary, spooky, anything like that. So this is Frankenstein, the 1818 text, and I don't know how that is different from Frankenstein. But maybe it's a more unabridged version or something. Let me see. Penguin Classics has published the original 1818 text, which preserves the hard-hitting and politically charged aspects of Shelley's original writing, with its strong female voice and unflinching wit, emphasizing Shelley's relationship with her mother, trailblazing feminist Mary Wollstonecraft, who penned A Vindication of the Rights of Women, Frankenstein. The 1818 text demonstrates her commitment to caring for her mother's ideals and places her in the context of a feminist legacy rather than the sole female and a company of male poets, including Percy Shelley and Lord Byron. So, good old monster feminism. She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. I didn't even know that existed. That's almost telling that there's like this other Frankenstein. Good Lord. I also got this to add to my collection. There's No Place Like Space. I recently came across a collection of Dr. Seuss. And I already had several. At some point in my life, hopefully in the next 5 years, I'm going to have a library. And it's going to include Dr. Seuss, It's going to include Steinbeck. And I think I'm actually going to put a bunch of like used library books in there, like ones that I like, but from old libraries. I think that would be super cool. So yeah, this is going in my collection. 99 cents. This book, however, is not. It is not in the greatest condition, but it doesn't really matter. I will list it at acceptable, even though it's probably slightly above acceptable. But I tend to list items like books or things that are highly collectible, or where the condition really, really matters to people, one step below where it's at, because people can get very particular, and also people can try to scam you. So if it's very good, I put it at good. If it's good, I put it at acceptable. If, you know, it's acceptable, I put it as is type thing. I almost never put anything higher than very good. Because even if I get it at Goodwill and it looks like it's never been read, some people will try to find like the tiniest little flaw and say that it's not new or light new or whatever. But any kind of like herbal books, especially when they look sort of obscure, do well. They do pretty well consistently, because we just don't teach this stuff anymore, and this information is hard to find, and the internet is highly not reliable when it comes to this type of thing. So these books where these authors, and a lot of times even scientists, decided to compile information about like herbal living and lifestyles, is information that people really want. And some of the only ways to really get that is to have a book, and they want these books. So I will list this as acceptable, and I'll take a lot of pictures because there is like creasing. There's just wear. It looks almost like a used textbook. It'll still sell for probably like 35, 40 bucks. The last couple sold for 40. I don't think the condition is going to matter too much because there's not a lot of them. I'll probably list it around like 36, somewhere in there. I also found sort of last minute, which I don't even think I got it on the video when I was there. I'm going to have to learn how to get stickers off with these nails because they sort of try to dent the thing. I can use helpful hint. You can take a blow dryer and just for maybe 30 seconds, just high heat, and then it'll just peel right up. I hate doing that because it's like getting a whole nother thing out. At some point when I get this situation a little bit more under control and have just a little bit more workspace, I'm going to keep a blow dryer in my supply area so that if I need it, I can just whip it out, plug it in. Anyways, this is a Netgear Nighthawk AC 1900 Wi-Fi USB adapter, dual band. There's not a lot of these on there. Like, I kept finding like the Netgear Nighthawk, but it was like all kinds of different models and stuff, and all the models do pretty well. This one I only could find like one sold and none listed. I'm sure they're on there somewhere, I just couldn't seem to find it. But it is new open box because I took it out because I noticed that the seal is broken, and like it still has like the little like plastic protectors on the feet, the foam feet. You can just tell like this thing has not been used. Like it is like crystal clean. And then another good sign, most people don't wrap their bread ties like that because we don't have fine motor skills. So if you see them look like they're factory wrapped, that this hasn't been used. The little thingy here, that might have been opened. I can't tell. That might just be how it is. I don't know. But, I have a feeling somebody was trying to was going to try to use this and this wouldn't load, or they couldn't figure it out or something. But all the other little pamphlets and guides are in there. So it will be listed new. I just like spit on myself. New open box. And the last one that was new sold for $59.99 free shipping. So I think I could easily get like 40 bucks out of this. $3.40. This will probably go to my daughter. I have a feeling this is worth good money. This era of Nick Jr., they came out with some really spot on shows. No, ma'am. No. Lay down. Backyardigans, Max and Ruby. Oh, they're all gonna escape me now. Wonder Pets. Oh God, there's more. There's good ones. There's really good ones that all came around. They're like recession period. Like literally, I remember being unemployed during the recession and just watching these shows with my daughter and thinking, man, they really got these cartoons down. And for some reason, they just pulled them all. And I felt like they were really good. And that generation loved those cartoons, but they did not make a lot of toys. And it may have been something to do with the recession, something to do with funding. A lot of things like that happened with toys and clothing brands alike, that people were not spending money, or they were canceling their cable, so to save money. And so a lot of things that were created during that time have become very valuable because they didn't make a lot, but the people who were participating in it or who do remember those things absolutely loved them. There was some really quality stuff made during that time that just got kind of lost to history. And it was not $5.99, it was $2.99. At least I think they charged me $2.99. But I have a feeling that she would murder me. I think my daughter would seriously hurt me if I sold this and didn't give it to her, because finding a Max and Ruby plush is like, it just doesn't happen. You just don't find them. You don't find the Wonder Pets plushes. You don't find any of that stuff anywhere. It is all gone up in value, which stinks, because like I like to surprise her with those things for like her birthdays and stuff, and they're so expensive. So I do slowly find them out in the wild, you know, which is always exciting. But man, some of the stuff that I've wanted to get her is just so expensive. Let's see. That was the last stop. I'll finish this stop. I should probably have opened this. I did not open it, but it is I'm going to try it again. Motahide. I know I'm saying it wrong. It is a very sought after brand that makes a lot of like very high-end sort of dishware that's almost more decorative. Very sought after. Some of these go for big money. Like I'm talking like $500 and $600 easy. Most of them go for at least $80 to $100. The only one listed of this right now is listed at, I believe, $150, or either $150 or $175. I can't remember. There are no solds, but this does to me feel like more of a Christmas time gift. So I am going to list it high because I don't want to undercut. There's only literally like 1 or 2 of these listed. I don't want to undercut, which this like thing is crooked. Yeah, straighten that up. It even has like a little price sticker on here of $130. So I'm guessing this was resold. I don't want to undercut something that high of value that is that sought after. If something is listed at a really high value and it's just obviously not moving, like that bald eagle, Squishmallows have gone down significantly. So that listing, that higher listing on that one could just be something that was listed at that price months and months ago when they were sort of peaking, that they just have been stubborn about and not lower the price on. So because there have been none sold in the last 3 months of that size, I will undercut that seller, because obviously nobody wants to pay that price for that eagle. And because it is trending downward. This does not trend downward. This is one of those that I just would never undercut somebody on. Ooh, nice. It is in beautiful condition. So this is like a set. It comes with a little soap dish, and you can just tell when you find these that they are high quality. The transfer on them is so like elaborately designed, and a lot of times you'll know like a higher quality piece because they really have like this very classic way of like branding or marking their pieces. You'll see it with like Lenox brands and Royal Albert. There's some others. It still has a silica gel in it. But it comes with 3 soaps. It smells, oh my god, it smells so good. Like, it smells so good. I just almost want to just bathe in it if it wasn't worth $180. But I will list it close or right at what that other seller has it for, because there obviously aren't a lot of these, especially with the soap still in package, in gift-giving condition. And I'll just wait. I'm not even going to put a best offer on it. I'm just going to wait, and I would be willing to bet that sometime towards Christmas this will sell, because this is an excellent Christmas gift for someone who really likes that brand, because it's not one of the standard pieces, and because it has that added little bonus of those like absolutely amazing soaps. It just smells like money. Also, at that stop, I'm trying not to, because I made a stop back at the one near my house, because it was about to have another pop-up shower, and I was like, well, I might as well go back in to this Goodwill again, nut job. But right before I left, like how I looked through the t-shirts for myself. No, man, I know, I want the monkey too. We all want the monkey. We cannot have the monkey. Okay? I'm gonna get you a plush. Have I ever let you down? Huh? I'm sure I have. But this is not one of those times. I think she's gonna probably also want me to keep getting nails. But something in me left the t-shirts and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go down the toy aisle one more time, because I'd heard like what I thought to be carts coming out while I was looking through the t-shirts, and I'd found so many good things. I was like, I might as well, you know, like I'm here, it's gonna take all of like 2 more minutes. And right as I went into the toy aisle, an employee went into the toy aisle, and on top, like that Goodwill, they won't let you go through the carts anymore. But right on the top, I saw this monkey, and nobody was like looking in the toy aisle at that moment. And that particular Goodwill employee really likes me. She's a talker. And so I went up and I was kind of looking around. I was like, would it be okay if I grabbed that monkey real quick? And she's like, she took it out of the cart. She's like, here, let me put it on the shelf. So that she could follow the rules. And I was like, thank you so much. $2.99. And I am pretty sure this is a Rushkin, if I'm not mistaken, and he has a scarf. But even if it's not, even though I'm pretty sure it is, I'm thinking a solid like 70, maybe more, maybe upwards of 100, because those have really, they're making a strong comeback. And part of that's actually because of YouTube resellers. Some of the YouTube resellers love these things, and they were finding them, you know, out in the wild. And so when they would find them, they would buy them for themselves. So they were like hoarding them for themselves. And people started seeing them on videos, and they're like, oh my god, I gotta have one of those too. Well, there became a scarcity. So these are going really well right now. He's got some like literal 1950s glitter. It's not like glued in there. It's just, it's like he was wrapped in a Christmas. Ooh, God, I bet they have vintage Christmas up there right now as we speak. These nails are so handy. I don't know how I've been living without them. He's in pretty good condition. Like, he has a little bit of the standard rubbing on his nose here, but his eyes are exactly the way they're supposed to be. He's not really crazy dirty or anything. Oh, wow, his hands work together. He can eat his banana. Like, he's in pretty good condition. So I'm really thinking we can push that $100 on this, but I was just happy to see it because it's getting harder and harder to find these. So I'm glad my gut, for whatever reason, said go down the toy aisle. And I followed it because it was like, if I had waited even 2 more minutes and somebody else had walked around that corner, this would have been on the shelf, and I can guarantee you this would have been grabbed off that shelf. So it was exciting. I was very happy about this one. Get in there, monkey. I can't put you near my dog. She is eyeballing you. But while I was over there, again, I looked up and I guess she had just put this Lee Middleton doll on there too. I don't mess with dolls a lot, almost ever, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, and people are picky, and brands can change very quickly as far as their value goes. But aside from her hair, because the bow is still tied like its original tying, like you can tell like that is tied appropriately. I might actually tighten it up just a little bit because it does look like it's gonna try to come loose. But her hair is a little, like, it's come out, just not come out, but like mucked up. But it's not bad. But she doesn't have any stains or like rips or tears or anything like that. She doesn't even really have scuff marks on her like arms and things like that. And she still has her tag, and the tag is in pretty nice condition. So I feel pretty comfortable selling this one. And I also could not find her. The minis, this is a Lee Middleton mini. Classic Miniatures Artist Studio. They can range from like $40 to $150. I don't know yet where I'm going to put this one. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. I'm going to probably knock it down a little bit just because somebody's going to have to redo her hair slightly. But also that sort of makes it to where they can't complain, you know, if I'm giving them a deal. But I'm going to have to do a little research. But even if I get $30 or $40, she was $2.99. So extra glad that I went back into the toy aisle. While I was in the t-shirt aisle, I got me some t-shirts because I've been wanting some t-shirts. I didn't find anything really to sell, which I could actually sell these probably like 10 bucks a piece, but for me, I just want them. So I got this skeleton dancing in the moonlight. I think that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna actually take the sleeves off of that one. I don't like the like tighter sleevage. But I like that one. I found this super cool. It's not vintage. It's like the newer liquid blue. There's probably a date. There might be a date on here. No, there's no date. But it's like a very neon Jimi Hendrix shirt. So that one will fit me really well. But yeah, that one's pretty cool. So I'm going to keep that for myself. And then I've been really into Billie Eilish lately. Like, I liked her older stuff, and my daughter grew up listening to it, but her more recent stuff is really, like, it's hitting me. And I really like who she's become as an individual, too. But yeah, Billie Eilish t-shirt, keeping it. So those were for me. I think the only other thing I've got there, other than the toy bins, which we'll go through momentarily, is this Joe Exotica socks are these. They're designed in LA. It says it's the Free Joe pair or design. And I can read on here, it says, make America exotic again. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. These are very fun. I don't think they might sell for like $10, $20. But I do, by the way, keep a small, right now it's fairly small. It's less than a bin. I'm going to keep collecting it. I would say I could probably manage to get up to 4 bins or so. But I find things that are in really good condition and really small, and I put them in that bin as sort of an investment for myself, because all of those things that I collect are already probably around the $10 mark, if not more. Some of them are more valuable, and they're so small that it's like every time I put a tiny item in there, it's like I'm dropping a $10 or $20 bill in there. And all of them are almost guaranteed to go up in value. So really, one thing you should know about collecting vintage and antiques is if you collect properly, I think it's about every 5 years, the value tends to go up an average of 20%. Some of those can be more, some can be less. That's really better than a savings account. So as long as, you know, your house doesn't burn down or something dramatic happens, if you can collect small things, or even big things if you have a space, and you can invest in art or vintage items that are almost guaranteed to go up in value because they're already somewhat rare or very iconic, don't do Beanie Babies. Don't do Snow Babies. Don't do certain things. Collector's plates. But if you can find and get good at those things that are going to go up in value, then your investment's going to go up a lot faster than if you even put it into a savings account. Now you have to be careful, because at some point you're going to have to let those items go if you want it to be worth your time and investment. You're going to have to actually be willing to sell those things. But if you are in a mind state where you are okay selling those things, say in 20 years, and you have 4 bins, and in each bin there's like at least 100 items that have all gone up to like a $50 value, I mean, you're talking about a good substantial savings, and it could be even higher than that. So, and you probably haven't invested a lot of money in it. So this may go in my savings, because this was very iconic pandemic. Like, this is what most people were like, this, all we had to do was jigsaw puzzles and watch this very crazy wild story on Netflix. But also the coloring, and they're in new condition. So I have a feeling this is going to go in my investment bin. Anyways, here's a little bit of my tip for you. So I booked it back towards my house. Notice there was a big giant rain cloud like over the direction of my neighborhood, and I was like, well, I'm not going to drive in that direction. I still don't have a windshield wiper motor. So I pulled into the Goodwill, and there wasn't a lot of people there, probably because of the rain. There were my least favorite pickers, which they were behaving when I had my camera on, and then they started being weird again. And then midway through, 2 more pickers showed up. So I really didn't spend a whole lot of time, even though I probably circled all the aisles like 4 times, because they were stocking some, and I did keep just like catching my eye on little things. Didn't get a whole lot. But I did pick up this Life is Good water thermos. And it looks to be in like really, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is new. Like, there's not even like water, you know, like if you wash something like this, it'll get like little spots where the water dried. There's none of that. There's a little bit of muck on the outside, but I think that's just like superficial, probably where it's been sitting around in a storage bin or where it's donated. The vinyl graphic is super glossy and very like pristine condition. So I'm pretty sure I could sell this new, like new without tags. The last one that sold new was $29.99 plus shipping. We are going into soccer season. Life is Good is sort of trying to make a mild comeback. So for $1.99 I picked it up. I think I could get at least 20. I'm probably gonna list it upwards of 30. Then I got some media. Some for myself, some to sell. This one I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep or not. It does sell for about 10 bucks. This is The Impossible Kid, 2016. Again, it does sell for about 10 bucks. Media tends to sell pretty quickly as long as you're getting something that's more current or sought after. Haven't decided if I'm going to keep that for my CD player in the car or not. This is probably going to my daughter. It doesn't have a big significant value anyways. Maybe like 6 bucks or so. But she loves Adventure Time. Absolutely loves it. And it is the 7th season, so that will probably go to her. This one is, like, it has a little bit of a pull here on the case, but the inner 4K is sealed. And that should go for about 10 bucks by itself. And then I got this one to hold on to for a little while because I know Angry Birds is about to make, it's about to make a big comeback. It never really went away because they didn't make a lot of Angry Birds merch compared to how much people liked Angry Birds. But this is also what they call the red edition. You could only get it at Target. It's in like perfect condition. Don't even know if anybody ever watched it because all the pamphlets are here. It has the DVD and the Blu-ray. It's got all of its inserts. And it comes with these eyebrows that you can wear. So there's that. And then it's got the fuzzy eyebrows on the cover. Now, right now, this seems to only go for about $10. But anything really iconic that comes around that also ends up having an exclusive, at some point that becomes pretty valuable. So I'm pretty sure in the next year-ish, Angry Birds is going to make a pretty strong comeback. Year and a half, somewhere around there is my guess. So I'll see if this goes up right now, if it peaks like in the next year or so, and I will list it then. If not, this very well could end up also in my investment bin. So there's that. Then I found, which I don't know where the other one, oh, there it is. I already put it in there. These I normally wouldn't pick up. It'll only go for about 12 bucks plus shipping, which isn't bad. I paid $3 for it, but I don't like that 4 times profit margin. But because there are 2 and they're both in pretty much identical condition, that means I can do 1 listing with a quantity of 2. So it's like twice the product, half the work. And that way I end up doing 24, only doing 1 listing, if that makes sense. I'm not doing as much work. The profit margin being lower becomes worth it at that point. So I went ahead and got those. And I found this. This is super cool. Now, these little hidden faux books. Oh yeah, I got 2 more. Hold on. What were these? I think these are for me though. I got me a Justin Bieber. I love me some Justin Bieber. I feel like he turned into, despite everything, he turned into an alright person, pretty good person, and I feel like he's really talented. I like some of his music. So, anyways, like the Biebs. And I got me a Linkin Park. So my car only has a CD player, and I don't get Wi-Fi, or I don't have phone service. I just use my phone on Wi-Fi right now. Hustle mood. So I do get CDs for myself, and I love Linkin Park. R.I.P. But I did find this. These faux books do pretty well. Some better than others. But this one has a really cool sort of like gothic feel to it, and I didn't find any like this. It has, I think this scene, I'm gonna try to make sure y'all can see it. I gotta get the light situated in here. I'm gonna work on that this next week. I think they call this like art scene The Guardian. I'm not sure on that, but I'm pretty sure. This is like higher end. It's got a very nice like felt in here. It is super clean inside, and it's got the magnetic closure, which is a bonus. But it's very, it feels very like mysterious and gothic and like cool. So I'm gonna list this one up probably like $36, because I really feel like for those people who like those hidden books, and especially those people who like this like aesthetic, they'll be willing to pay that for that. There was another one there that was just sort of like an atlas, and that was just so generic. I just wasn't gonna mess with it. It probably would have gone for maybe like $15-20, but this seemed worth it, so I got that. The last thing I got there before we get into these toy bins, Lord, I feel, you know, I might have to make a whole separate video for the toy bins. I think I'm gonna have to. Y'all don't shoot me. The next 2 days, I'm gonna like pump out a whole lot of videos. So I know y'all are waiting on the jewelry video. I'm gonna work on that as soon as I get off here. I have like 3 other videos I need to make. I'm gonna decide what to prioritize. I'm probably gonna do a separate toy bin video because this will turn into a 2-hour thing. So these looked vintage. I wasn't sure. I wasn't for sure. This one is 2003. That's what I was thinking, sort of Y2K. But I don't know what's in here. But it's like a whole thing of stickers. This is Chubb City, Welcome to the Neighborhood. And it's that like little homey sort of like vibe that came out of the early 2000s. So those are cool. There's multiple of those, so I can do like a quantity listing. Sometimes stickers only go for like $5 a pack plus shipping, which you can ship these like through the eBay. They have an eBay program where you can pay like, it's only like 63 cents to like $1 or something. And there's certain standards, like the envelope size has to be certain size, and then how big the item is, but these will go through that. So the shipping cost will be fairly low, but because they're a quantity listing, they're pretty easy. We got some SpongeBob. This is 2008, but those are like the raised like bubble SpongeBob, so those are super cool. And SpongeBob is, the generation in college right now loved some SpongeBob. We got Sesame Street, 2006, another SpongeBob. We got a different kind of SpongeBob, 2006. So really, this is like perfect timing, because these aren't even Y2K. These are like heading in towards the recession, which has yet to be established what we're going to call that era. Like, what keywords are going to work on eBay for that. but they are coming up. This is the generation you want to sell to right now. They're in college or coming out of college, and you want to start stocking up on things that they love. Another SpongeBob, another Chub City, another Chub City, another Chub City. Wouldn't it be awesome if these are worth like $10, $20 a piece? And I could just make $1 million off stickers. Another Sesame Street. Oh my god, we have Hello Kitty 3D. 2009. Right in the recession. Recession Hello Kitty. We got 5 of those. That's awesome. We got some more Sesame Streets. Several of those. This may all be Sesame Streets. We got a lot of Sesame Streets. So, that is cool. I love me some sealed stickers, especially if they got a little bit of age to them, because they're harder to find and people just, they remember getting them in school. They remember decorating their stuff with it. It's something really cheap that they can buy for themselves that's nostalgic. They can scrapbook or journal or collage. I love sealed stickers that have characters and are a little bit older because they're just harder to find. Alright. I'm going to pause this and I'm just going to see how long we've been going. If I don't come back, I will be back in the next video. It's just I don't want to make a 2-hour video. One, nobody's going to watch a 2-hour video. They're going to fall asleep. I'm not that interesting. 2, it takes a long time to upload a 2-hour video. And if the internet drops or anything, then it's almost like you practically have to restart. So I'm going to see how long I've gone. If we're at like 30 minutes, which I'm pretty sure we've gone way longer than that, then I'll keep going. But otherwise, more than likely, I'm going to sneeze. Oh god. Okay, I'm not gonna sneeze. More than likely, I'm making another video. So yeah, I'll try to get all of them posted. I'm gonna do the jewelry. I'm gonna do the shopping trip from today. And then I'm going to do this video, and then I'm gonna do the toy haul video, and I'm gonna try to get all that posted by tomorrow night. So y'all have like 4 videos to watch. I'm trying to get caught up. I have a lot of good footage, and I was so focused on listing that I was still cranking out videos every day, but I was picking so much and going over so many hauls and doing everything I do. I ended up with a lot of content, and now I gotta try to catch up on actually editing and posting. Anyways, it's been fun if I haven't seen you. One way or another, you guys are winners, and I'll be back.